हेलो लिंक्डइन फोक्स, गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड आफ्टरनून, गुड इवनिंग, जब भी आप इस वीडियो को देख रहे हैं. सो गाइस, आई हैव बीन रिसीविंग कपल ऑफ क्वेरीज रिगार्डिंग recruitment from freshers, those who are trying to start their career into recruitment. And apart from that, they have been asking couple of questions like how we should be start into recruitment, what kind of skill set is required. So I am going to basically start a recruitment series over here. So I will be publishing few videos in which we will be discussing something about practical things like how what kind of skills it is required, what is the day-to-day responsibilities of a recruiter, what kind of methods we should use, what kind of questions we should ask, what kind of like a skill set. So basically we'll be discussing about all the aspects about recruitment. Apart from that, in case so yeah, so but before that, today I just wanted to like cover up few positions. I would like to tell like before starting, like before telling you about the recruitment, what kind of skill set we required. I would like to discuss about couple of open positions which we have at Mastech. So yeah, but before that, let me just brief you. Basically, I have received couple of CVs, the positions which I have shared over within last week for e-commerce QA role over LinkedIn. So I have received couple of CVs, but all of them are not relevant. Just to let you know, because I have clearly mentioned in the JD that we require experience into e-commerce domain. None of them having experience into e-commerce domain. See, that's where we talk about like we should always go through the complete job description before applying to any particular position. So all of them were not relevant. So make sure whenever you are applying for a particular position, you should have go through the complete JD. So yeah, so for this particular requirement, this position is still open, and for this particular requirement, we need someone those who experience into e-commerce domain with Selenium and Java. So this is the number one requirement. Apart from that, but yes, and for this requirement, you should be also open to work into manual testing and automation testing both. It should not be like that. I will be only doing automation testing part. It's not like be that. You should be open for like auto manual testing as well. Apart from that, the second number position is for full stack Java developer role, in which we are looking for someone those who have sound experience into Spring Boot microservices plus React JS. So please don't apply in case if you are core backend developer, don't apply. I'm completely looking for full stack developer role. In case if you have experience into only into Java and microservices, which will not work here. And so now, yeah, so number third position is the you can apply for e-commerce business analyst role, in which we are looking for someone those who have sound experience. Any one technology would work, either ATG, either Indica, either Salesforce Commerce Cloud, or either Magento. You should have any one technology experience. That should be must have experience. So make sure you should have that experience if you are core into e-commerce domain, or if you are have in experience into any other domain, which will not work here. So make sure whenever you are applying for any position, you should have experience into must have requirements. That's how like you'll be able to receive the interview calls. So instead of complaining, so don't, because I see couple of like people, they do are tend to those are tend to complain that we are not receiving interview calls. And also see, that's where we have you should have go through the company whatever the JD is mentioning. So see, you make sure whatever the must have requirement, you should have that in your CV. And make sure the you suppose, let's suppose if you're forwarding your CV for microservices, like a Java microservices role, right? And you are mentioning in the CV like recipe, and also you should have to think about, as per the recruiter's point of view, they are going to sometimes mention in their Naukri portal that we are looking for microservices. Sometimes they mention Spring Boot like that, right? So make sure you should have mentioned the keyword, that those keywords also, so that ATS will be able to read that particularly. Okay, yeah. So now coming to our like precious part, like those who are asking about like what kind of skill set we are looking forward into recruitment. So see, so now coming to the recruitment part, so let's first of all understand what kind of a skill set is required to become a recruiter. Like see, for me, the first and foremost skill is required is the research skill, and the, or we can say learning. You should be able to learn it every day. Why I'm saying this? Let's suppose आई मीन फॉर मी सबसे पहले हम ये समझते हैं रिक्रूटर की डे टू डे, सो यू हैव टू सो लाइक सपोज आपको कोई रिक्वायरमेंट मिलती है फ्रॉम योर मैनेजर दैट यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट लेट सपोज अकाउंट्स एग्जीक्यूटिव और मे बी लाइक इनटू inside sales executive role. So what you're going to do, you have to find out everywhere, like you have to think about what kind of sources you can use to find out that particular person, right? Suppose if so, first of all you have to decide like what kind of JD says, like what kind of JD it is, like let's suppose what kind of skill set it is requiring. Let's say if you're looking forward for accounts executive person, the person should have experience into like finance, taxation, like, tally, or these kind of skill set is required, right? Depending on the project, right? So you have to think about it, like what kind of must have skills is required. Now you have coming to the sourcing part, right? So now like what are the methods you can, what is the method you can use to source out the particular candidate? It can be the from the organization point of view. Suppose if you are not a freelance recruiter, if you're working in an organization, so organization will be providing you one or two like a kind of paid sourcing method, let's say Naukri, Monster, or Dice if you're into US recruitment, or maybe LinkedIn recruiter access, right? So they will be providing you that, right? So either you can search it out from Naukri, or either, or but also you can try it out some another sources, right? Let's say if you have to, so you can use Google as well. There are multiple methods to use, like you can use Google X-ray search to you find out the candidates. We'll be discussing about, don't worry, we'll be discussing about each and everything in upcoming videos, like what kind of X-ray search, what is Boolean search, how to we should use that, right? We'll be talking about all these things. But apart from that, yeah, first of all let's understand, like what kind of skills it is required. Let's say, so जब मैं यहाँ पर research की बात कर रही हूँ, like we have research skill, right? So research, because recruiter वो नहीं, let's suppose आपको आप वो अभी segmentation हो गया, like we are into technical recruitment, we are into non-technical recruitment. But for me, recruiter is someone, those who have those who are able to close any position which is assigned to him or her, right? Let's suppose आज मैं if I am into technical recruitment, मेरे manager अगर मुझे कोई नॉन टेक्निकल पोजीशन देते हैं, लेट्स सपोज इफ दे आर असाइनिंग मी एन अकाउंट्स एग्जीक्यूटिव, लाइक मे बी इनसाइड सेल्स एग्जीक्यूटिव रोल, लाइक एनी काइंड ऑफ सेल्स रोल, सो आई कांट deny to that person that I will not be hiring, I don't have an experience into that, right? But being a recruiter, like you should be able to close each and every position, you should be able to. So now how will do it once you have knowledge about each and every skill set, especially into technical hiring. Let's suppose if you are not from any technical background, let's say, or suppose if you have not done any kind of BTech, MC, or like these kind of technical roles. Let's suppose if you have done the like maybe BCom, BA, BA, like DSC, these kind of roles if you have done, and you have no idea about skill sets like Java developer, React JS, Scala, ATG, you are not aware about these technologies. So market में like a daily new technologies आती रहती है. That's why you should be updated about your I would say you should be updated about your profile, you should be aware about all the technologies which are coming into market. So आपको वो चीज़ें रिसर्च करने में थोड़ा मज़ा आना चाहिए. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that you are feeling bored after 3 to 4 years, you are thinking about like daily सेम ही काम है, repetitive work you are doing. It's not like that. You will be most enjoying, because see, you have to understand in that perspective. बहुत सारे लोगों को मैंने कहते हुए सुना है that calling part, हमको calling में interest नहीं है and we don't want to go into recruitment. Recruitment is not a telecaller job, it's a most challenging job. Let's suppose, so basically आपको let's suppose आपको अगर एक बिल्कुल ब्रीफ में अगर मैं बात करूँ, अगर let's suppose आपके मैनेजर ने आपको एक रिक्वायरमेंट दिया है, let's take an example, full stack Java developer. Now you are आपको वो पोजीशन टारगेट करना होता है, like let's suppose आपको 1 month दिया जाता है उस पोजीशन को क्लोज करने के लिए, राइट? सो नाउ यू हैव टू प्लान योर स्ट्रैटेजी. इट्स नॉट एन टेलीकॉलर जॉब जिसको सारा आपको पूरा कैंडिडेट्स की लिस्ट दे दी गई है, आपको सिर्फ कॉलिंग करना है, ऐसा नहीं होता है. इट्स अप टू यू दैट यू आर, अगर आपकी जितनी अच्छी आपकी सोर्सिंग और स्क्रीनिंग होगी तो उतना ही अच्छा आप आप उतना ही रिड्यूस कर पाओगे अपने नंबर ऑफ कॉलिंग. आपको सोर्सिंग स्क्रीनिंग उस तरीके से करनी होगी so that you don't need to do multiple number of calls. So it's only up to you. Now the number second skill is communication skill, because you have to interact daily over calls, with the candidate. So you should be able to articulate the position properly. You should be able to, present your organization brand properly. Because once you are confident, then you will be able to, articulate properly the position about the requirement to make the candidates understand what is the position is all about, what does the company do. So you should have good communication skills for this particular role. Apart from that, I would say like you should have the number third skill is the public speaking skills, or like if you should be able to extrovert, like talking to the people. You should like talking to the people. It's not like that, I mean, because you have to do interaction with the candidates on daily basis. It's your daily job to because there will be multiple positions which will be assigned by a manager on a daily basis. So you have to interact on daily basis with the candidates. So you should be able to people skills, like that kind of skill set you should have. Number four skills, I would say, at the negotiation skills, which because we will be discussing about complete process about the recruitment. Because let's say your manager assigns you an requirement and you have closed that position. Close that position means candidate join the candidate, but during the process, while doing the salary negotiation, you have to talk to the candidate, because in end-to-end recruitment you'll be all the things you'll be doing, from searching in candidate to sourcing, screening, calling, and apart from that, interview scheduling, talking to the technical panels, talking to the hiring manager, understanding the requirement. Apart from that, like salary negotiation, all these things will be doing from your end only. That's a recruitment job. So you should be aware about yeah, it's not like that. I mean, people, if your budget is, let's say, like maybe 20 LP, and the candidate is asking, let's suppose if he or has 8 to 9 lakh current salary, and if he or she is expecting directly on 30 LP or maybe 35 LP, so you should be able to ask to the candidate like why he or she is expecting that much of hike in so you should have that much of confidence in you, because until and unless you don't ask, I mean, you will be directly forwarding to the that profile to the hiring manager, which don't work ultimately, and your efforts will be completely wasted. Trust me on that part. So now we have talked about the skills, and we have talked about like what kind of daily job roles you see. So basically, from gathering the requirements to closing the position. So that is that there is many more things required in the whole process. Now अब मैं आपको थोड़ा सा ये बता देती हूँ, like let's suppose I mean अब आप let's suppose आप किसी भी non technical qualification you have done B or BCom, let's suppose interior designing, any kind of sources. Now you have not aware about the technology. So how you can research about this, because research is also like you should not be like in the condition like that where you will be able to find out, I mean, whatever the content is coming, you are reading and you're wasting your time. Because see, internet have bunch of information. So now you have to decide what you have to take and what you have to consume or what you have to not consume, right? So it's up to you. So now see, जब मैं अपना बताती हूँ, जब I mean when I was in fresher at that point of time में मुझे मज़ा आता था. मैंने ये सोचकर भी ऐसा देखा कि यार इंटरव्यू देते समय लेने में कुछ अलग मज़ा आएगा. I mean, so I have started career into recruitment because I have interested talking to the people, talking to the understanding each and every role, what kind of roles and responsibilities they have. So now I am also from a non-technical background, and right now I'm hiring for like technical people as well into IT. My majority of the experience is into 80% experience is into IT recruitment. So मैं किस तरह से रिसर्च करती थी, मुझे at fresher level point of time भी like I would have researched like basic to basic question I would have researched over the internet, like what kind of questions we should ask to like Java developer, what kind of skill set is required. I mean, I will be providing you one technical like basically the hierarchy, like what kind of skill set is required into each and every role, whether it is ASP.NET, whether it is Java, whether it is Magento, whether it is ATG. Like you should be able to understand first of all what kind of designing skills, what is Salesforce is required, उसमें skill sets कौन सा required होता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको अकाउंट्स एग्जीक्यूटिव बोल दिया तो उसको सिर्फ अकाउंट्स ही आना चाहिए. उसके अंदर भी और भी अंदर बहुत सारे skills होंगे जो कैंडिडेट को आना चाहिए, and you should be able to understand that, right? So I will be mentioning in that job description. Let me know in case if you have any other question. Feel free to DM. We'll be coming up with few more requirements tomorrow, and we'll be discussing about tomorrow about the sourcing and few